Hello, everyone. It's Jared Moore back again with another YouTube video. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you a Power Automate online flow that has saved me a bunch of time in my day-to-day activities. And I hope this may help you improve in your day-to-day functions after seeing this video. Name of this video today is what I'm going to do is I receive several emails daily that have attachments. And what I do is take these attachments and I save them to a SharePoint folder. And instead of me going in to each one of these emails individually throughout the day and then saving them to SharePoint and updating the file, what I do is I create this one-time flow in Power Automate. And what it does is for every email that comes in from a certain sender, we'll go into the details here in a few minutes, but for each one of those emails, it takes that attachment and it moves it to SharePoint and it overwrites the existing file that already exists in that folder. And then what I do with the data that's stored in that file is that's some of the data that I use to update my Power BI files. So this is one step in a process that has saved me a bunch of time of having to do this for each and every email that I get throughout the day. So enough talking. Let's go into Power Automate online and I'll show you how I set this up. So before I do that, let's click on over here to another slide. All right, here's the additional slide. And basically for those of you that are following along, I'll show you where you can find this at, but I didn't create this by myself. This is an already existed template that exists in Power Automate Online that takes these email attachments, saves them to SharePoint, and then deletes the email. So you don't even have to worry about deleting the email afterwards. So that is what I'm going to be working with today. So that's enough about that. Let's get on over to Power Automate Online. Okay, now that I have Power Automate Online up and running, one quick tip before they just made a recent change to the homepage for Power Automate. It used to be flow.powerautomate.com and now it's make.powerautomate.com, as you can see up here in my browser. But if you do still type in the flow.powerautomate.com, it will take you to this new link here. So not that you have to worry about that. That's something that they recently updated with Power Automate here. So as you can see on my home screen here, there's a bunch of different flows that I use on a day-to-day basis. And one of the ones that I was just talking about that we're going to go through today is, for example, I'll take one of these three emails or one of these three flows right here, and we'll go through that step-by-step process. But first, I want to show you where I found that template that I just showed you before we went over here to Power Automate Desktop. So if I click on templates here and then just type in, save email attachments and then hit the enter button, you'll see a different, all kinds of different things come up here. But this one right here that says save email attachments to SharePoint and delete the email is the one that I'm going to be using for today's video. But instead of creating this from scratch, I'm going to take an existing one and show you how I have this set up. And then we can go in and I'll actually show you how this flow has performed over time. Just so you think that this is something that I hadn't created. I have created numerous of these, and they do run. I do have several of these that run every day. So what I'm going to do is go back over to my flows. And for example, this one called, we won't take one of these first three because these are newer ones that I just created. Let's scroll down here to this Lawton AR, which is one that I've created. It's run for quite a bit of time here. So what I'm going to do is click on this one right here, and it's going to open up and show you, basically, here's that description. There's that template that I'm using that I showed. It shows that I originally created this on August 20th, and it's been running ever since. And then this kind of gives you the day-to-day history, if it's succeeded or if it's failed there. And some pretty cool stats over here on the right. It doesn't take long for this to happen. So once the email hits the inbox, it takes a matter of 2 seconds for it to, anywhere from 2 to 3 seconds for this flow to take that attachment, save it to SharePoint, and then delete the email. I don't know how fast you are, but I know I'm not 2 to 3 seconds fast. So that's just to show you that this is set up. So, and I do have this run on a day-to-day basis. How I have this set up is basically I have some clients of mine that use QuickBooks Online. And what I have through QuickBooks Online is I have some custom reports that I have set up within there. And those email to me every day. And through QuickBooks Online, you don't currently have the availability of telling it when to schedule the email to be sent to you. But typically, what I've seen is they come between 4:30 and 5 a.m. my time, which is Eastern time zone, on a day-to-day basis. So I do at least have a nice window of usually when those emails come in. So and the reason why I need that is just because of if any additional flows. I do have some of these flows that, obviously I wouldn't want to refresh the Power BI report until this email has come in and the file has been updated in SharePoint. So I have to make sure that the emails are in before I, have that refresh schedule set up. So what we're going to do now is I am going to click on the edit button, and that will open up the flow and the steps that you have to set up for this particular flow. All right, here are the 3 main big steps that we have to do for each one of these. So first is when the new email arrives. If I click on this, and then we'll show the advanced options into the inbox here. I don't know about you, but I have a couple different email addresses that I use. So it's very important when you're setting up this flow, if you're dealing with more than one email address, that you have this set up from the right email address. So basically, it's any email that comes to my email address here. Includes attachments, yes, because we want to move those attachments. And the subject filter, this is the actual subject that's actually in the subject line of the email that comes to us. And then you can set importance, or you can say only do this if it has attachments. In our case, we want to have yes. So that's everything that we need to have filled in for this first step here. So now what we want to do is once we have that email come in, this step right here tells us where to move or take the attachments or attachments. This can be plural. So if you have an email that comes with 5 different attachments, it could move each one of these files at one point to there. It doesn't just have to be for just one attachment. So if I open this up, it's already in here, but it's attachments. All you would have to do is just left click in the steps here. And this is where you can choose all the dynamic content from here. But what we want to do when we're creating this new overriding this existing file in SharePoint is we want to take the attachment from the email. So we're going to use attachments. And then in the create file section here, what we're going to do is give it the site address. This is actually the SharePoint address that I use. And this is the actual folder path that I want this file to be moved to once we get this flow running. And then once again, the file names, this right here is the attachment. It's the attachment name that we'll see here. And then in the file content, you're going to use the attachment's content, which is right below right here. So in this second step, what we've done here is we've taken the attachment from the original email, told it what folder we want this to be added to in SharePoint. And in this case, there wasn't a current file that already existed, but this right here takes this to a folder that I have that gets moved into another folder after this file, after all these processes get completed. But we then taken the attachment's name in this step, and then in the file step, or in the last step here, we've added the attachment content to this step right here. And then in the last step right here, which actually deletes the email, in my case from Outlook, and then it's just the message ID that you're going to want to use from down here. So we can go down and see right here, the unique identifier of the message. And this is how this would delete the email right here. So what I do here, this is how this flow is set up. So what's great about this flow is once you have this set up and run, there is no schedule that you have to set up for this. It only happens, or the flow only takes place once that email has arrived with what we told it to in that first step there to actually to do. So we're it's only going to run this flow when an email is sent to this email address with this subject filter, and it has to have an attachment. Then it's going to take that attachment, move it to SharePoint, and save it in SharePoint. And then what I have, long story short, is I actually have a desktop flow that updates a bunch of other data for a bunch of these clients that's from other sources. And then what it does is it takes the file from that folder, which is like, I label it like .files to move. So I know that's the folder that I want to take emails from there, or the files from there, and actually move them to the appropriate folder there. So what I do is I actually have a desktop flow that updates the other data and then takes the files from there, and then completes all that actions after the fact. And I'll show you that folder here real quick. So if I open up my folders here on this right here, I can open up my SharePoint list here. If I go into Power Reports here, and I had that one at the top there, it's .files to move. And you can see I have a file in here from a previous video that I did this morning that I haven't got rid of. But basically once this file is in here, then I have a desktop flow that would take this flow from here, or this file from here, and then move it from here to the appropriate folder. And as you can see, this is Recon AR. So this would move it to my folder down here, which is the folder named Recon down here. So you can see this morning that it took place. If I open this up, that it actually that it did this at 5:16 this morning. Everything went through. So that's the short on how to do this within Power Automate Online. I hope you enjoyed the video today. And if you have any future requests for videos, please post them in the comments section below. And keep in mind, as you're sending requests, let's keep the request pretty simple, because I know a lot of us that are getting into this probably are very, very new to Power Automate Online or Power Automate Desktop. And this will help not only make the videos short and sweet, but it'll also help anyone that wants to follow along and recreate these on their own, make it very easily to do. So once again, thanks for attending, and I look forward to hearing or seeing from you in the comments section below. Thanks.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Enterprise DNA TV. If you enjoyed the content covered in this particular tutorial, please throw the video a like. It really helps us and we really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Enterprise DNA TV channel. We have a huge amount of content coming out all the time from myself and a range of content creators, all dedicated to improving the way that you use Power BI and the Power Platform. Lastly, check out Enterprise DNA's website. Plenty of resources and further learning that you can access very easily. All the best. Take care.